Hello, this is a Lighthouse tutorial on battle styles, the Circle of Death. Something every scout can do against certain tanks, although some scouts like the PZ-30NA and SP-1C aren't particularly adept at it. Even they, with their poor turning abilities, have some tanks they can pull it off on. A Circle of Death is very simple. You get up close to a tank, use your superior agility and maneuverability just to literally run circles around them, shooting them as you go, and preventing them from ever being able to shoot back at you. This is going to be a series of several videos over the next couple weeks where I show you the circle in different variations through different tanks, and I'll include one video on the crossover, which is a technique you use when you get in close to a tank and discover that, for whatever reason, he is able to traverse his gun fast enough to get a shot at you. What do you do then? It's called a crossover. It's an escape maneuver to evade his shot and buy yourself more time to take him out. But for now, this is going to be my T-21 going up against the Japanese OI that you see off in the distance. One thing you have to do in a Circle of Death is get in up close and personal with the tank you're targeting. The farther away you are, the easier it is for them to bring their gun to bear on you. Think about right now, if I were to move forward 50 meters, that OI would only have to traverse his gun maybe 10 degrees, maybe 15 or 20, to keep me in line of fire. Whereas if I were right up against him, move my tank in a circle the same 50 degrees, or same 50 meters, he would easily have to rotate his gun more than 180 degrees to try to keep it trained on me. So the closer you are to your target, the more effective the circle is. Now there's some caveats with that. If you're using a derp and you get right up against them and shoot, you may cause splash damage to yourself. Worst case, you kill yourself. Second worst case, you track yourself and you're not able to circle at all. So, if you're in a derp, you want to keep a little bit of distance between you and them so that you don't splash yourself. In some cases, however, in order to control their ability to traverse, you have to be right up against them. And I'll include a couple cases like that in a video, to where you can see how you can move right up against them and side hug them or face hug them, and then when it's time for you to shoot, you just give yourself a little space to create the separation you need not to damage yourself. And again, that kind of stuff only applies if you're in a derp. So, ideally, you're in a situation like this to where you can use cover and concealment to mask your approach and pop out and begin your Circle of Death. A couple other videos will show what happens when you're caught with open space between you and your only chance to live is to rush them and absorb a shot while you close with them. Sometimes your best maneuver is to rush your target knowing they're going to hit you one time, but also knowing that before they can shoot a second time, you'll be close enough to where you can evade their gun. Whereas if you had just tried to run away and live, they could have shot you twice and killed you. So here we go. I'm going to move to where I'm using the buildings to cover my approach on the heavy. I don't want him to get in a shot on the way in, and I have the ability to prevent that. So here we go. I'm getting closer. He just fired, so it doesn't matter if he sees me. By the time he's reloaded, I'm way ahead of his gun. I'm going to go around the building in this case because I know I can do it and stay ahead of his gun rotation. And now it's just a matter of running circles around him. Notice I'm giving myself space. He can't close against me and slow down my circle. I stop a couple times, keep that gun in a position that's way far away from me. I don't have to keep progressively always going forward, and now I have a fire, and now he's dead. I took down a Japanese heavy, taking 0 damage in return. He never even got his gun close enough to me to warrant a shot. It's called the Circle of Death. If you drive scout tanks, you need to use this technique. It allows you to destroy a much bigger, more heavily armored and more heavily gunned target with very low risk of receiving damage in return. If you have a less mobile, less agile scout than the T-21, then you have to know your tank compared to the tank you're going up against. Something you can do to a sluggish TD or a sluggish heavy, you may not be able to pull off against an opponent that's capable of turning more quickly. So it comes down to a matter, like so many other things in the game, your knowledge of your tank and the enemy tank. Know when you can do it, know when you can't. And as I said, I'm going to follow up over the next couple weeks with a couple other videos showing you a circle of death under similar but much different circumstances. From Erlenberg Assault Defense, running circles around the enemy OI until he blows up. Happy hunting.